Naked mole rat, one of the weirdest animals on Earth. It is the only known mammal that almost never gets cancer. In decades of laboratory study, cancer has shown up so rarely in this species that scientists consider it basically immune. The reason comes down to a dense sugar called hyaluronan that their cells make in amounts roughly 6 times greater than what human cells produce, and it works by stopping tumors from forming before they even get started. It can also survive up to 18 minutes with no oxygen at all by switching its body over to a completely different fuel source, running on fructose the way a plant does. No other mammal can do that. It feels no pain from acid or from capsaicin, the chemical in chili peppers that causes burning, because its nerve cells simply do not have the wiring to pick up those signals. It is also the only warm-blooded mammal that cannot control its own body temperature, relying entirely on moving through different parts of its underground tunnel to stay comfortable. It lives in groups of up to 300, all serving a single breeding queen, a setup scientists thought only existed in insects. Workers never have babies, and when a queen dies, females fight each other for the position. Despite being the size of a mouse, it can live up to 30 years.
Hagfish. It has no jaw, no stomach, no paired fins, and no true vertebrae. The hagfish has survived for over 300 million years without meaningfully changing, outlasting the dinosaurs and every mass extinction on record. Whatever it is doing, it has been working for longer than most life forms have existed. When a predator bites a hagfish, it does not get a meal. Within milliseconds, the hagfish shoots out slime from glands along its entire body, and that slime expands to hundreds of times its original size the instant it hits seawater. It pours into the attacker's gills, cuts off water flow, and chokes it out in seconds. No other animal on Earth uses slime as a weapon that way.
The slime itself is threaded with protein strands thinner than a human hair that are pound for pound stronger than nylon, and engineers have spent years looking into using them for things like bulletproof gear. To avoid suffocating on its own slime, the hagfish ties its body into a knot and slides that knot down from its head to its tail, wiping the slime off as it goes. It is the only animal known to tie itself in a knot just to stay alive. Hagfish is one of the most effective scavengers in the deep ocean, often crawling straight inside dead whale carcasses and eating them from the inside out.
Aye. When scientists first came across it, they thought it was a rodent. It took years before anyone accepted that it was actually a primate, making it one of the very few animals ever placed in the completely wrong group on first look. The reason for the mix-up is its teeth. Its front teeth never stop growing, just like a rat or a squirrel, and it uses them to chew through tree bark the same way a rodent would. Once it breaks through, it taps its unusually long, thin middle finger against the wood while listening through its big ears for the hollow sound that means an insect larva tunnel is underneath. When it finds one, it hooks the larva out with that same finger and eats it.
No other primate hunts this way. This feeding style, called percussive foraging, does the same job in nature that woodpeckers do in the rest of the world. Madagascar has no native woodpeckers, so over time, the eye evolved to fill that gap on its own. Across much of Madagascar, it is seen as a sign of death and has long been killed on sight because of that belief. That, along with shrinking forests, has pushed it towards serious decline.
Star-nosed mole. It holds the confirmed scientific record for the fastest-eating mammal on Earth. From the moment it touches a piece of food to the moment it swallows it, the whole thing takes as little as 120 milliseconds. That is faster than the human eye can follow. What makes that speed possible is its nose. The tip is surrounded by 22 soft pink tentacles covered in around 25,000 tiny touch sensors called Eimer's organs, all packed into a space smaller than a human fingernail. No other surface on any animal comes close to that many sensors in that small an area. The nose takes up nearly a quarter of the brain's sensing space, which means it works less like a nose and more like a pair of eyes made entirely out of touch.
It can also smell underwater. It blows tiny air bubbles onto objects, then sucks them back in to pick up scent. No other animal has ever never been seen doing this. Each of its 22 tentacles moves on its own and stays in constant motion, building a running picture of everything around it through touch alone. Even though it is nearly blind, it is one of the most effective hunters in its environment.
Vampire squid. Despite its name, it is not a squid or an octopus. It is the only living member of its own ancient group that split off from both hundreds of millions of years ago. When scientists first described it in 1903, they could not figure out what kind of animal it actually was, which is part of why they gave it a name that translates from Latin as vampire squid from hell. It lives in what is called the oxygen minimum zone, between 600 and 900 meters deep, where oxygen levels fall below 3% of what they are at the surface. Most sea life cannot survive down there. The vampire squid does not just survive there, it chose that zone on purpose, using it as a safe layer that predators cannot enter.
Despite its scary name, it does not hunt anything. It eats marine snow, the slow, constant fall of dead material drifting down from the upper ocean, collecting it with 2 long, trailing arms that can stretch 8 times its own body length. When in danger, it has no ink to release. Instead, it flashes glowing light from its arms to confuse whatever is coming for it. Its eyes, at 2.5 centimeters wide on a 15-centimeter body, are among the largest of any animal compared to its size.
Platypus. This first dried specimen arrived at the British Museum in 1799. The scientists who looked at it were so convinced it was fake that one of them grabbed a pair of scissors and searched for stitches where someone had supposedly sewn a duck's bill onto a beaver's body. There were no stitches. It took years for the wider science community to accept that the animal was real. It has 10 sex chromosomes. Most mammals have 2. Its DNA also shares sections with reptiles more than with other mammals, placing it on one of the oldest branches of the warm-blooded animal family tree. It hunts with its eyes, ears, and nose completely shut. About 40,000 tiny sensors packed into its bill pick up the weak electrical signals that come from the muscles of prey hiding in river mud. No sight, no sound, no smell, just electrical sensing alone.
The males carry venom in spurs on their back legs. The pain it causes is strong enough that regular painkillers often do not work, and it has been reported lasting for months after a single sting. The venom glands only turn on during mating season, which suggests males use them to fight each other, not to defend themselves. It also lays eggs, making it one of only 5 egg-laying mammals left on Earth.